So, what were we doing? Oh, we were at Club Golf looking for things for Moon to do. Right, okay. Will the chef be up at this time? Will anybody be up at this time? Apart from the labourers. Oh, bugger. Yeah, 2 seconds gonna beat, right? Sorry about that. Right, so. Which one is that to talk to?
Wow, the big celebrity down here with the common troopers. What can I do for you?
Why'd you join the army?
I guess I wanted to make something of myself, you know? Be the best of the best. I wanted to be a ranger, but guess this is as close as I get.
How'd you end up beside the Camp Golf?
Easy. This is where they send all the fuck-ups and people they don't want. But hey, it's not like I'm bitter or anything.
Tell me about yourself.
Not much to tell, really. I grew up in New Reno, joined up, took my shot at being a ranger, didn't make it, so I'm stuck with this crew of jokers.
How come you didn't make it to the Rangers?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe because I'm saddled with the worst damn unit in the NCR Army. Think that might have something to do with it?
You aren't too fond of your squad mates?
Yeah. I mean, no. They're okay people, but they don't care, you know? They don't have any ambition, no drive. They're slacking off, and that reflects badly on me.
The place doesn't seem so bad.
Please. Camp Golf is where they shuffle off anybody they don't want anymore. Assignment here is a career ender.
Bye-bye.
Sure. See you around.
Just like your career.
We won't go quietly. I'm assuming you aren't associated with the Army or the Rangers. What can I do for you?
Are you in charge around here?
In a strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base, I feel it's safe to say the soldiers here look up to me.
So that's a no then.
I suppose if you must stick with your narrow, parochial view of in charge, then yes, it's a no. Are we done?
Oh, someone likes himself. Tell me about yourself when you aren't got your head stuck up your arse.
To what purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say, I'm a certified genius, and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need.
So how did you end up in the army then, if you're so smart?
It's a simple idea. The Army offers fiscal security and generous benefits at the cost of substantial personal risk, if you're on the front line. If you perform too poorly, they'll scrub you out. Perform too well, and you get sent to the front lines. All I have to do is ride that mediocrity gradient to a cushy, do-nothing job miles away from the war. I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
Yes, I'm sure I will when I find the leader.
Oh shit, here comes the brown noser. What you want?
Know anything about your stuff squad mates?
We don't talk too much, mostly. Poindexter's a smart-ass prick. While Hanrahan's a big pussy, ain't good for shit in a fight. And Mags? Well, Mags is cut out for something other than soldiering, you dig?
Sounds like a bunch of winners, especially you just sees a woman as a sex ball. Fucking shit. Well, yeah.
Whatever. Not like I need any of them. I do just fine on my own.
So how'd you end up here?
Ain't much to tell. Grew up out west, in the Boneyard. Heard of it? Yeah, not many people have. Wasn't really a good place for kids, you know. I joined up to get out. My family's still back there.
Okay, tell me about Camp Golf.
What do you want to know? Whole place used to be some kind of rich bastard resort back before the war. Now the Rangers use the old resort and we grunts get to live in tents. Fucking typical.
Why are you in the army then?
Shit, man, it was this or the Fiends. And Fiends don't last too long in the NCR. At least this way the badasses with the top shelf guns are on my side. Right.
You sound so amazing.
Wish I had a first recon guy looking after me. Y'all sure are a big old hero. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you.
What can you tell me about your squad mates?
They're mostly pretty nice. Poindexter showed me how to make fireworks. Raz kind of scares me sometimes, but I don't mind. He's had a hard life.
Can you tell me more about yourself? You don't mention Mags at all?
Well, I was born on a farm out in California. Weren't much. Me, Ma, and Pa, my 2 sisters, and about 40 acres of corn and Brahmin. Didn't ever have no problems, really, except for some lean years. Then I joined up and got shipped out here to New Vegas.
What'd you think of Camp Paul?
Oh, it's a fine place. The lake is real pretty, and we don't get bothered much by them Legion fellers.
How'd you end up in the army?
Well, as it turns out, we had a string of bad harvests a few years back. Pa said he couldn't afford to feed but 3 youngins or we'd starve. As the biggest one, it was my job to go join the army so's my sisters could eat and so's we wouldn't all be killed by raiders and Jesus would love us. It's all right, I guess. I don't like all the fighting we gotta do, though.
Why are you so afraid of fighting?
I ain't scared. I just don't like hurting folks is all. Ma always used to tell me, boy, you're the biggest and the strongest, so you mind yourself. Every day she told me that. Guess I done took it to heart.
What about the boy? Bye.
Toodaloo.
There's a quest involving them. Sevols! Sevols? That's enough, Sevols. There's a quest involving them to get them to shape up. You may have to go and see the fucking commander, dude. Who's in here somewhere. Sevols! Sevols? Sevols? Oh, he's probably have somebody walking by or.
Hello.
Sebo! Calm down, boy! See, he doesn't want to calm down, he just wants to bark and bark and bark at this thing sound. Sebo! How many times do I have to ask you why? About 6 more, probably. You just stand the bog standard NCR Ranger? Yes. There's one about here somewhere will give me a quest involving misfits to shape them up. My guns is by far high enough to teach them. I don't know about explosives. I might have to read a magazine and explosives to get up high enough for them. Well, I need to flood through this one. At end, yes. Yes. Wow. First time. Second. First yes after. What's this? A Lucky 38 executive override. Observation has nothing in common whatsoever. Observe? No. But it does give me something, because the TI and DION is going to be in quite a few. Observe, bear, be. Sean, nothing in common whatsoever. Yes! And permanently access the terminal. Oops. So there you go, it's grenades and rifles. I can teach them. My explosive skill might not be up to par, but Generic Ranger. Have you got anything I can steal that isn't stealing? No. It's all theft, which is unfair. Why detected? Right, combat armor, damage threshold 15, damage threshold 9. What do you think? Helmet, it gives me damage threshold of 3, but I lose that perception and crit chance, so. There we go, combat armor. I'll gladly steal some combat armor. I'm not too worried about the karma hits. There's plenty of opportunity to gain karma when I start fucking up the fields. I barely started on them, by the way. Taking out those leader ones, that was hello Seville. He is currently, there's Mr. House. Back before he came a robot or a machine. Well, he's not actually a robot. He is in a life preservation cryopod sort of thing. And that, by the way, is Liberty Prime that he's done. And there should be a head honcho somewhere about. And in the meantime, I'll steal anything I think is useful to me. Like that. Primary power source unavailable. Surely the fuck we can still use the terminal even if the power source is unavailable if it's got a backup power supply. Ah. Chief Hanlon likes these rangers. Can you? Oh well. Chief.
I'm occupied at the moment. Come see me when I'm on the balcony.
I can see you're occupied. Grrr. Oh, I need 2 fire hose nozzles going at it. Remember that shit. 2 fire hose nozzles. Someone's been using a lot of drugs, all those empty syringes and fixers to go with it. Oh, ammo. Fucking 12 missiles! Just laying about. I don't use stim packs that much, so yeah, I've gone this way. Was any in his desk that were star bottle caps? No. We'll just wait out here for. Oops, that went again. Let's go see if we can find the balcony with him on it. Right, so that's the only balcony he appeared on. There he is.
Back west, you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, the San Luis. Drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. It's a different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now, looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs. The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up. But it sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now what can I do for you?
What do you know? How's NCR doing? Yeah, how's NCR doing?
Even Caesar knows that General Oliver's coming back to Hoover. Colonel Moore's doing a fine job of running things over at the dam. In her own way, of course, when she's not trying to wrangle my rangers into helping her. But just keeping that dam secure and operational day to day is enough work for one person. Never mind building a defense against the Legion.
Colonel Moore's way?
The Colonel's an effective commander, one of the best. But she sharpened her claws on the Vipers and the old Jackals. Did 4 tours against the Brotherhood, too. She used to be a ranger until an injury took her out of action. Happens to a lot of us, unfortunately. She's better at making graves than making friends. Bring in Moore and the earth will be raised. Fields will be salted.
We're in charge of all NCR troopers out here.
No, and thanks to General Oliver for that. Colonel Shue is at McCarran. Most of the new Vegas troopers are under his command. He's more sympathetic to the locals than Moore. Now that the fiends aren't giving him grief, we should see more troopers assigned to the front lines. Good work on that, by the way. Hope you got good bounties out of it.
What about General Oliver?
Oh,
Hello.
well,
Yeah.
now you'll have to excuse me. The General and I don't always see eye to eye on things. Maybe it's best that I just say he's a trooper, through and through. The man will not give up an inch for anything, least of all to the Legion.
Oh.
Shoot.
No, I'm saying out to my dog. He just bit my wrist. Anyway, so what about yourself?
Folks around here call me the Chief, but handling's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well.
Oh. Hey, don't
But I
bite
try
my
to
cords.
lend a
That is from
hand.
my headphones.
Mostly
should have
administrative work,
headless wireless ones.
helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water.
How'd you coordinate intel?
It's a simple system when it works. Patrol rangers radio intel to ranger stations. Comm rangers send the intel up the station chain until it reaches Camp Gulf. Then I or one of the other rangers on duty organize the data, evaluate it, and send the information to camps or troopers in the field.
There's my beautiful little boy. I don't know how intel that to us.
Comm rangers might have an incomplete picture of the situation. There's a lot going on out there. Intel needs to be coordinated through Gulf so we can verify and advise appropriately. Troopers have enough to deal with. We don't want them questioning their intel.
Hello? There's also my little puppy. Where's my little puppy? Can't you put next text on?
Shoot.
What do you know about Caesar?
The best of the best, the worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse.
Goodbye, puppy.
Like a lot of the followers, he
puppy.
went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be, except with books and medicine instead of guns.
Where did he go?
Out to the Grand Canyon. He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest.
Stop it! How did the follower wind up becoming a Kaiser?
Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots, or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe.
Will you please stop
Showed them
going
how
my
to
doors?
use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not.
Stop it!
He
No
became
playtime.
Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. And that's where Graham stayed until Hoover Dam.
What happened to Graham after Hoover Dam?
Losing the dam was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered.
Will you stop
Graham
going
had
on my
been with Caesar
doors?
since the beginning, but he had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went.
Fucking stop, dog! So that was the end of Graham?
It's not that clear cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man.
And that Blackfoot's part of the Legion.
Yes and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only tribe in the Legion is the Legion. Caesar is the chief, father, and god, all rolled into one.
Okay.
Shoot.
What's Legion been up to?
Intel says the legate's coming. Lanius. They call him the Monster of the East. If he's half as bad as Graham was, we're in for a heck of a fight.
You got dog.
With Caesar and a new legate here, the Legion's not going to fall for the same old bag of tricks.
Why do they call Lanius the Monster of the East?
Oh, the usual reasons. People say he's enormous, carries a big sword, chops people's heads off. That's not what makes him a good commander, though. Folks say he came from a heck of a tough tribe. Took Caesar a long time to conquer. It was thanks to Lanius. But once Caesar broke him, he was born again. He'll go anywhere and do anything to win. Legion says he could smell weakness. Once he finds out where an army's vulnerable, he'll go to it like a dog for the throat.
How bad was Graham?
He was a missionary from Utah who hooked up with Caesar at the Grand Canyon, became his translator. Graham helped Caesar with the Blackfoots after they got captured together. Up until Hoover Dam, he was Caesar's legate. You wouldn't think a man of God could turn so brutal, cruel to his opponents. Did the sort of things that makes you sick to talk about.
Was he a good commander though?
He wasn't a brilliant strategist, wasn't tactically flexible either. There was something about him, though. Menace, indestructibility. He made everyone afraid of him. Heck, the Praetorians burned Graham 4 years ago, and some of the tribes are still afraid of him. They say the burned man still walks the land, blackens the earth wherever he sets foot.
He's in Horus Hearts.
Shoot.
Tell me about the Rangers.
I could tell you a lot if you had the time, but at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know?
Any good to tell?
Suppose it depends on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger rangers.
There's really something good the Rangers have done that you're proud of.
It's kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail.
Did you?
Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well. There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with .308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. And these bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit. They had planted an NCR flag over the well, and they would not budge until every last one of them was laid out dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it. I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 Rangers on the way out. 10 Rangers, 5 men with .308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times, but it worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good.
So, yeah, goodbye. Don't really care about Boulder City, the dam, so whatever. How did I get the quest for the Misfits? Maybe I have to talk to them during daytime when they're not, asleep. Whee! So it's either the Misfits, maybe they have to be on training so I can offer a training. Oh shit, that's been about half an hour anyway, so we'll end it there, and next time we'll go see about the Misfits, and I'll just double check on Wiki just to make sure how I get that quest for Misfits. It's been a while since I played, okay? So I'll see you then.